Hey friends, welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast with your host, Nicole
and Hannah. Come join us for some hopeful conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing.
Hey Chessies, we are back for another episode, and today we will be chatting about Season 6, Episode 3, Night and Day, with our friend Simone. Welcome back to the podcast, Simone.
Hello.
I'm excited to chat about this episode with you.
Me too.
Do you want to start with Connor and Margaret individually and as a couple?
That's fine.
All right. So the first scene just right out of the gate that I loved, it was Megan bringing Connor more tea and distracting him from his game.
Oh my gosh, he was so, it's like a teenage kid all over again. Like, Mom, I can't believe you made me die. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah. He said, Mom, you made me crash my speedboat.
My speech.
And then Nick
that sounds like what my kids would say to me.
Yeah. So. And then Nick comes in and he said, want some more tea? And then, yes. He's like, no, I don't want more tea. Like,
more people keep on asking him if he wants tea. And he's just getting more frustrated with it because I get out of this place.
Yeah. Whoa, a little edgy there.
I'm sure he's getting tired of people like babying him.
Yeah.
Like he's a grown man. Like, I'm okay. Maybe the first week or so, it's fine. But after a few weeks, like, all right, I'm done. Like, I can do my own thing. I can make my own tea if I need tea.
Yeah.
Or maybe he doesn't want tea anymore.
Yeah. I like how he said that he wished he had an island of his own.
Some days I wish I had an island of my own too. Be nice.
I don't blame him.
Yes, especially like they're such a big family. Like sometimes like you could probably almost, I wonder if he just, you feel smothered. So like he's like, all right, sometimes I just want to be by my like this, and he lives in his own apartment too, like his own place. So yeah, I'm like, now you have to live back with your mom and dad. So you're like, man, I don't know about that one.
Yeah. And speaking of that, he is ready to move back to his own apartment and believes it will help with his recovery to take care of himself. But Megan doesn't think he's ready for that. Nick just kind of wants him to slow down because he says, when you think you're better and you start pushing things, that's what happened to my father. I don't want you making the same mistake. I like how he was looking out for him, even though I can understand Connor wanting to be on his own.
Yeah, it's even though like your kids are probably like, I don't know from that perspective, my kids are little, but like I'm sure like even my mom still worries about us, and we're all in our 20s and 30s now.
Yeah,
she still worries about us in that way. I can't imagine moving back home to be taken care of though. So I mean that's a different thing though.
Yeah, a favorite scene was Margaret visiting Connor, and I believe this was right after Connor talks about how he wants to move back home to his apartment, and Margaret is asking how he's feeling, and Connor mentions how he loves his family, but he's had enough. Then they start talking about his parents, and I love Margaret's line. She says, parents are powerful. Just wait till you meet mine. Put them together and they could defeat an army.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. I'm like, oh, wow.
I loved the Uncle Connor moment we got with Caitlin, and he's talking to her about popularity in school, and he's encouraging her. I thought that was a nice moment.
I like that moment too.
Yeah. We got to mention Connor sneaking out. That was hilarious.
I know he's trying to get Margaret to help him on his scheme, and she's kind of against it.
Yeah. Also, when he was sneaking out, I noticed that there was a photo of Nell in the background, which I loved.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I'll have to rewatch it again and see.
Yeah. The banter when Margaret is picking up Connor, that was really funny.
Oh, yeah. He's like walking and she picks him up. Yep, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Another favorite scene for Connor and Margaret was when they were spending time at his apartment, and she's complimenting him on his collection of books and vinyl records.
a good old school, final affairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She says, Miles Davis, you just went up 5 points.
Yeah, she's keeping score on him.
Yeah. We also hear Connor tell Margaret that on doctor's orders, he can't have alcohol, red meat, or salt. And then he says, add action movies to that, and I'll start crying.
Oh my gosh. Oh my, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah. It's so funny. I can imagine having to go without, like, I don't eat red meat, but like salt. I don't like a lot of salt, but I like salt. I can imagine like having a salt-free diet.
Yeah. And speaking of action movies, do you like action movies? And if so, like, what action movie do you like?
Depends on how actiony it is. It can't be too actiony. Like when there's like gore and blood and stuff like that, like a lot of fighting. I do like the Marvel movie series. Like I'll watch it with my husband, but I don't like sit down and watch it by myself. But like there's a new one and he wants to go see it. I'll go see it with him. But I'm more of a rom-com kind of girl or funny comedy. Those are my favorite things. But
that's awesome.
Do you like action movies?
Yeah, it just depends on what it is. I've never seen the Marvel movies, but I've seen the older Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and I liked that movie. Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Before they made like 20 million different Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many Spider-Man different versions of Spider-Man movies can you make?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this would be considered an action movie, but National Treasure is one of my favorite movies.
I love National Treasure 1 and 2, and I'm really sad they did not make an National Treasure 3 because they left you on a massive cliffhanger in the second one, and I'm like really upset. But I love National Treasure, and I own both of them. They're my favorite movies. I probably like some movies you only can watch one time. National Treasure is one that you can watch multiple times and you're fine.
Yeah.
So it's
I
a good
love
movie.
that one. Yeah. And I can't remember the guy's name that plays the best friend, but he did a great job. I mean, they all did a great job, but his character was awesome.
Oh yeah, he's funny. I love him. Yes, he's super funny.
Yeah.
How he kept a straight face when he did those lines is beyond me because some of his lines were super quirky. Because we just recently watched it with my kids.
Yeah.
And I was cracking up to it.
Yeah.
So
there's one scene, I think it's in the first one, when what is Nicolas Cage's character's name? Do you remember?
I'm drawing a blank too.
Ben Gates, that's his name.
Yes. What's his best friend's name? Riley.
Riley. Yeah, that's it.
I just looked it up on my own computer.
Oh, thank you.
Riley. And then Abigail was the love interest.
Abigail, yep.
Thought he was crazy. I love that movie though. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Okay. There was one scene in the first movie, I believe, when Ben was trying to escape with the Declaration of Independence. And he's going in the elevator and Riley's like in the bathroom trying to do his hacking or what.
Oh yeah, he's hacking in the bathroom still.
I was cracking up at that.
Oh my gosh, that movie's funny, just funny in general.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I'm gonna have to go watch it again now.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched it in maybe a few months.
Yeah. We got a little off track there, but that's okay. Moving back to Chesapeake Shores. In that same scene, we hear Margaret talking to Connor about her dream of becoming a big-time lawyer. She says she wants to pass the bar, become a lawyer, get a national reputation as a litigator, become a judge, and get appointed to the Maryland Supreme Court before she's 50. And Connor says, not the U.S. Supreme Court. That's some big dreams right there, but I think she could do it.
Before she's 50. So that's impressive. Some good goals to set.
Yeah.
So at least she knows what she wants. She's a very determined person in general. So I really like that about her.
Yeah, I
So
do too.
she's very driven.
Yeah. And I love how supportive Connor was.
Uh-huh.
And we also get the first I love you from them, I think, which
I
was
know.
really
See,
nice.
yeah, Margaret says I love you to Connor. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was, I'm like, dang, they move fast.
Yeah.
But when you know, I guess. So
Yeah. That was pretty fast. But
yeah.
I also love when they are talking about the courtroom drama movies. And Margaret says that she's old school. She likes 12 Angry Men and Anatomy of a Murder, which is a black and white film. And Connor likes A Few Good Men and Justice for All. I've never seen any of those movies.
I haven't either. I don't have to look those up because I don't think I never heard of them.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up Connor and Margaret for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
We can go to Mick and Megan. Megan, she's about to leave for her job at the Getty, and this was one of my favorite scenes, just them talking about their long distance relationship and how they're going to make it work. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I'm like, they were talking like, all right, in 2 weeks I'm gonna come, and then like in 4 weeks after that you're gonna come. Like, man, and it's by coastal. Like they live on the opposite coast. I'm like, that's a lot of flying. That's like a 5 or 6 hour flight there, and then another 5 or 6 hour flight back. I'm like, but I guess if you're committed to it, it makes it work. But long distance relationships can be tough.
Yeah. I also love how they are talking about their romantic dinner and the talk they've been.
And the talk, I was like, and Mick's like terrified. He's like, what kind of talk are we gonna have? He's
like
freaking out.
Yeah. What did you think of that moment? And what did you think the conversation was going to be about?
You know what? I was like, the talk. I'm like, I was thinking like where they're gonna go on with their relationship, like what's gonna happen next in their steps. And so I'm like, but Mick's face was terrified. I thought it was funny though.
Yeah.
when you're late, I guess, I don't know, his girlfriend. I don't know what you would say they are. It's kind of weird because they were married and now they're dating again. But like when your friend, like, when your person's telling you like we need to have the talk tonight. I'm like, oh boy. Yeah. What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, mine was the total opposite of what she wanted to talk about. Yeah. So
we go to the bridge and Mick and Luke have a conversation. He catches Mick taking the painkillers and Mick says it's just aspirin. Right. I'm just like,
I have a headache. I'm like, yeah, no. Which, I mean, that's one of the things that he goes like, when he like finally tells everybody what's happening. I'm like, lying is one of the first steps to a sign where you have an addiction of something, like lying. Yeah. I'm like, so, but yeah, he does cover it up.
Yeah. He arrives to Megan's house and is still popping those pills. Mick.
I know. Addiction's tough. So.
Yeah. I know it's hard, but it's a tough situation.
It's tough. It's definitely one of the things you don't see, like, especially on Hallmark, you don't see a whole lot of movies or even shows that talk about addiction. So it's definitely different for Hallmark to go this path with it, but I think it was really well written.
Yeah, I do too. They did a really good job with that. I thought it was sweet how Mick brought Megan her favorite flowers in a bottle of Prosecco, I think is how you pronounce it, which she likes more Prosecco, than champagne. Yeah. Megan says, gee, it's like you've known me for 30 years. And Mick says, and then some.
And then some. Yep, I remember that. So it was so cute.
Yeah. Megan cooks his favorite meal and saying that they don't have to have the talk that night if he doesn't want to. And I love how Mick says, that's a trap, isn't it?
It is. Like, wait, you really want to have this talk though, don't you?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So they agreed to have the talk, and it's about what happened after their divorce and what their lives were like before she moved back to Chesapeake Shores. What did you think of this scene?
It was, I mean, really tough to hear. Like, I guess it was really tough to see it, but like, sometimes I was thinking like, why dredge up old things? Like, you guys are moving, they've come so far. Like, why bring up what happened between the 15 years that they weren't together or whatever the time was. But yeah, it was tough to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, they were definitely getting upset at each other. I'm like, well, you wanted to have the talk, so don't get upset with what each person's saying, so.
Yeah, a little bit about that conversation. Megan mentions Ian, who she was in a relationship with for a little while. He eventually moved back to England, so the relationship didn't work out, but it was fun at the time. Mick mentions to her that he knows who she is and that he doesn't need all those details. And Megan wants to know about Martha, who was in a relationship with Mick for a while. So
yeah.
Mick met Martha in Baltimore when she was working for a contractor. He was lonely and under a lot of strain, especially because of Abby and Jess. Mick believes nothing good ever comes from drudging up the past and thinks he should leave before one of them says something they regret, which is basically what you just mentioned. So
sometimes it's just good to walk away from the past.
Yeah.
Just you don't need to, especially if you're trying to rekindle like a romantic relationship with somebody, probably shouldn't talk about your exes in that sense. So
yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah, definitely not. So when she wanted to have the talk, it wasn't probably a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea. A favorite moment for them was when they made up and they resolved things, which was nice.
Yeah. So it's always nice.
Yeah, I loved what they said. Megan said, "Why didn't you stay with her?" Mick says, "She wasn't you." "Why didn't you stay with Carter?" "He wasn't you."
It was just, I think, you think you realize, like, even though you're not together with somebody anymore, like, you still, I guess, I don't know, look for that person in other people still.
Yeah.
So
the morning after, that was really cute when he's making her breakfast and
it was so sweet.
He says, "You were right. Talking is good." Megan says, "So is kissing."
Like, well,
okay.
You're like, okay, yeah. I love that little scene. It was really cute.
On to Luke and Bree. We didn't get a whole lot of them in this episode, but they had some nice moments individually and as a couple. Luke is having trouble at his apartment. The pipes burst and water is everywhere. Not good at all.
Nope.
Mick offers to take a look, and Luke kindly declines because of having a landlord. And I don't have it written down, but I loved what Luke said to Mick. And then Mick responds by saying, "Now don't get all sentimental on me." I think he was thanking him for all that he's done to help him. Bree offers Luke a place to stay, which is at her house. And he'll be staying on the sofa, of course.
It looked comfortable, though. She pulled it out, gave him like a bunch of pillows and blankets. I'm like, hey, I would want to stay there too, especially if my apartment's flooded. It beats the truck he wanted to sleep in. He's like, I'll just sleep in my truck. I'm like, truck or couch bed? I would probably pick the couch bed. Yeah.
I also, Bree's reaction to seeing Luke with his shirt.
Oh my gosh, he's just like, here you, I thought you needed some more blankets. Here you go. And she kind of like, her face was like deer in the headlight thing, and then she kind of just walks away from him.
I love how when she walks back into her room and she closes the door and she's just like,
I mean,
I don't blame her. So. I don't blame her.
Well, me neither.
A favorite moment with them was helping Luke with his nightmares. And Luke says, "I'm kind of on my own here." And Bree says, yeah, except you're not anymore.
I thought that was sweet.
Yeah. And then the morning after, when we see Luke asleep
She's
with
like petting
his head on her lap. Yeah.
But it was so like, I mean, that's like a brief thing. I think she's very caring.
Yeah,
she is like
is.
reading her book and just like taking care of Luke. It was super sweet.
Yeah. On to Abby, Evan, and Mandrake.
I like we're adding Mandrake into this. It's super funny.
A lot of his scenes are with Abby and Evan, so
they are.
That's why I included him with the two of them. The first scene we get, the comedy is just priceless when Abby and Evan are in the office and she says, I don't understand why you're being so obstinate about this. I'm not obstinate. I'm unyielding. That's the same thing. No, it's not.
I love it.
Yes, it is. I'm going to look it up. Please do.
Yep, and she looks it up and tells them what's up. Love it.
Yeah. And then I think they say something else, and then Evan says, what were we arguing about again? And then she's like, what kind of double doors we need for the HVAC system?
I love their relationship. They're super
funny. Evan is talking about the Kincaid group retreat, and Abby is talking about CrossFit athletic training while working at Capital Management. And the group retreat that Evan participated in is how they come up with the idea for what goes on for the majority of this episode, which I loved. A funny moment I have is going back and forth with Mandrake about why Evan is not participating.
Oh yeah, they're funny. I love those two guys together. They're super good.
Yeah, they have a great, what is it? They have a great dynamic on screen.
They do.
I love how Abby's like, whose side are you on? Mandrake's like, I don't take sides.
He's Switzerland in this. He's neutral.
Yeah. They go on to talk about the activities, and Evan starts talking a little bit more about the retreat that he did with his company. And he says it's more of a mental exercise, a car rally and scavenger hunt through DC, Maryland, and Virginia. It's an all-night test where teams of drivers compete to accomplish various tasks by sunrise. And Abby eventually agrees to be on his team for business. I'm like, for business.
Sure. Well, yeah, like, and she like has to talk him into doing his own scavenger hunt. He's like, oh, you know, I used to do it for the new people. Like, I don't do this stuff anymore. I'm like, but you work there. Like, and I think Abby's trying to get, him out of his comfort zone a little bit, because I feel like he can be a little reserved, doesn't want to be like in the limelight. Yeah. But like, I like that she pushes him out and makes him go, and as a work thing, whatever.
Yeah. I like that too. Another favorite scene is when they were on their first stop, and Evan is talking about how Mandrake has the Tesla and had to find a different car, and Abby says, "What? No Batmobile?"
Oh, wasn't? And he's like, "Sorry, that was already like." Wasn't, well, I don't remember what he said, but I had to crack up because it was like, oh, it was already taken for the weekend or something like that. But I was like, oh my gosh. But I'm like, that'd be cool to drive the Batmobile around.
Yeah.
For a scavenger hunt.
Yeah. The instructions for this scavenger hunt. Cell phones can only be used to take pictures to confirm their activities or call for help. No GPS allowed. Only paper road maps and road signs can be used for navigation. It's about team building, cooperation, and good sportsmanship. It's not about who wins or loses. And they go on to talk about how they're definitely going to win. And their first task is to go to the Rocket's Red Glare, which is referring to the Star-Spangled Banner and Fort McHenry. And then Evan goes on to call Mandrake, and Abby's just like, you're breaking the rules here.
But it's Mandrake. He's like, but it's Mandrake. That's what he says. I'm like, but Mandrake. Maybe they should have wrote in that you can't use Mandrake.
Yeah, he says, I'm not using GPS. I'm using Mandrake.
Mandrake. Yeah, that's what it was. I thought it was like. I'm like, I mean, Mandrake knows all, so technically he would be a GPS. So, or he could be like a Siri in a sense, on your phone.
Yeah. So. That moment after they take the photo in front of the inn, and Abby says, learn the secret from your partner and vice versa. Don't tell anyone the secret, just keep it to yourself. Okay, go ahead and check that one right off. And that was from Evan.
Yep, he's like, yep, good. Done. Let's go.
Yeah. That banter back and forth when Evan says he doesn't want to drive and he says, you're no fun. And Abby says, you're annoying.
I love the banter, but I mean, they're always joking. I love the banter between them though. It's so funny.
Yeah. We hear that Evan doesn't like driving at night. And this is when they had a blowout with the tire. And he is pretty much done playing this game. He calls it quits. And Abby, she knows something is not right. Even though he says that he's fine.
I mean, I don't like driving. I don't like driving at night either, but like you could definitely tell like something was up with him because like, yeah, you blew a tire, like, but he was like for like almost like having anxiety because of it. So you could definitely tell like Abby senses that about people, like their emotions. So you can definitely tell like there's something wrong with him. Yeah, he's usually pretty stoic. Yeah. So it's definitely like it's nice to see the more vulnerable side of him in this episode. Yeah.
I love when Abby is changing the tire and Evan is just like completely surprised.
Like she is an O'Brien. She's like, well, I am an O'Brien. Like I could change your oil and and check the brake pads if you need me to. Yeah. And he says, no, I'm good. But when I need a pit crew, I'll give you a call. She'll probably do a great job. Sure, all the O'Briens actually do a really good job. Yeah. And after that, Evan decides that he's not ready to go home. He wants to keep going. He comes clean about why he doesn't like driving, but he doesn't tell the whole story until pretty much the end of the episode. So I thought her support was really sweet and just wanting to be there for him. Yeah. Stopping for root beer floats. I loved that. The fact they drank 2 in less than 2 minutes. And my stomach would hurt. I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, so I should not have root beer. I don't like root beer either though. But the fact of that, and he goes, then after that, it was funny. It was like the secret. He goes, like, oh yeah, I can tell you my secret now. I don't like root beer floats. I was like, I don't know if that's an actual, like, I can tell that's not really a secret though, because it's not, you don't mind telling that to people. Like, I don't mind telling people, hey, I'm like, it's not a secret. Like, I'm lactose intolerant. It's not really a secret, but like that, the secret about his mom, like that's a secret. Like telling that's different.
Yeah. Abby's secret that she tells Evan is when she was planning her wedding to Wes, she came very close to canceling the whole thing. Every fiber of her being was telling her that she was making a huge mistake, but she went through it anyway. She's glad she did because of having Carrie and Caitlin.
Sweet.
Yeah. I agree. Probably not the best choice for a guy, but...
Do you think also maybe she didn't want to get married to Wes because she was still kind of secretly kind of in love with Trey still?
I think it's possible. And then, everything going on with her mom, maybe, too.
Yeah.
So.
Just the commitments and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Abby and Evan make a stop at the gas station. They have completed every task on the list but one, with an hour until sunrise. He thinks it's been a lot of fun and thanks Abby for forcing him to do it. After that, we hear Evan completely come clean to Abby that his fear of driving comes from his mom dying in a car accident when he was 18. Oh, that's.
And I can't imagine, like, right when you're like starting to be like an adult and all that stuff, and then your mom passes away, especially like in a tragic way, in that way. So it's definitely tough. And he's like, I've only told a few people. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
I love how he opens up, like you just mentioned, and he says that he told Abby because he wants her to know him, and Abby says, I think I like knowing you.
Oh, I love the new relationship between them. So they're so sweet together.
Yes. The last scene of the episode is probably one of my top favorites in episode 3, when they are at the park and they're taking photos on the swing and the seesaw and the spinning thing. I can't remember what it's called.
The thing that makes you want to throw up. That's what I remember that thing being as a kid.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but
I don't know.
We actually have a park not too far away from where we live, and they have one of those things.
I have very bad memories. My brother, like, I would get on it just to play on it, and my brother would get it and he would spin it super fast to make me sick, because he knew it made me sick. I'm like, really? So then I just have bad memories. Those things are not my favorite things.
No, there was one time, I don't remember how old I was, but we were at that park, and that park also has one of those seats that are like on level, where your feet are like higher off the ground and it spins. There was one time,
I don't think I've ever been on one of those before. Oh my god.
There was one time I got on it and it wouldn't stop spinning, and I finally got off of it and I thought I was going to throw up.
I would have probably thrown up too, because I get motion sickness extremely easily. Even when I was a kid, it's probably worse as a kid. I've gotten a little bit better as an adult, but man, that stuff, that tilty, like twirly stuff, I can't do that stuff. It's too much for my stomach.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I was also dizzy. I think I was like this close to falling over because of how dizzy.
Yeah, nope, no thank you.
They have their first kiss, and I love how at first Abby steps away and she's like, okay, did that just happen?
Yeah, but then they kiss again. It's cute. I like it.
Yeah, they kissed a few more times. I think 3 times, I believe.
Oh, I didn't count, but I guess I remember, like, actually stepped backward and they did it again. So
yeah, they did it, I think, 2 more times. And the episode ends with Abby saying, so we didn't win, and Evan says, I think we kind of did.
Aw, it was so sweet. So
yeah, that wraps up episode 3. That was a good episode.
It was a good episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yes. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you, Simone, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We can't wait to have you back on again soon.
Yes, I hope to see you guys soon.
Yes, for another episode, whether it's Chesapeake Shores or another movie.
You never know.
Never know. All right, Chessies, I think that wraps up our recap of Season 6, Episode 3, Night and Day. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. And we will see you next time. We love y'all.